the storm of secrets. Months passed in a whirlwind of laughter, shared meals, and whispered promises, and Oluwafemi had grown accustomed to his life in Enugu with Chidinma. She was a devoted wife, intelligent and fierce, and her presence filled his days with joy. But with each passing moment, the burden of his secrets grew heavier, threatening to unravel the delicate tapestry he had woven. In Ilorin, Adunni had begun to ask more probing questions about his frequent absences, her intuition sharp and her suspicions rising. In Ibadan, Ireti had grown restless, yearning for more of his time. And in Enugu, Chidinma, with her penetrating gaze and an insatiable curiosity, was beginning to sense something beneath his polished facade. One warm afternoon, as Oluwafemi strolled through the vibrant market with Chidinma, he sensed a shift in her demeanor. She seemed distracted, her smile not quite reaching her eyes as they passed familiar stalls. "Is something troubling you, my love?" he asked, feigning concern as he reached for her hand. Chidinma paused, turning to face him. "I have heard rumors, Oluwafemi. Whispers in the market speak of a man with many wives, one in Ilorin, one in Ibadan, and now one here in Enugu. They say he has the heart of a charmer, but the soul of a deceiver." Oluwafemi felt the world around him tighten like a noose. His pulse quickened as he searched her face for any sign of accusation or doubt. "What nonsense is this?" he replied, keeping his voice steady. "I have no interest in gossip. My only love is you, Chidinma." "Do not lie to me," she said, her voice firm but tinged with hurt. "You know the truth of my heart, and I will not stand for deceit. If you are indeed a man of many loves, I will not be one of them." Oluwafemi's heart sank. How could he convince her of his loyalty when he was entangled in his web of lies? "Chidinma, please," he implored, drawing closer. "I promise you, I am only here for you. I have no intentions of pursuing other women." "But I cannot ignore the whispers, Oluwafemi." Her eyes glimmered with a mixture of pain and anger. "I need to know the truth. Have you other wives?" He felt trapped, cornered by her question. "What do you want me to say?" he asked, desperation creeping into his tone. "That I have loved before? Yes, I have. But they mean nothing to me now. You are my heart, Chidinma. You are the future I desire." For a moment, uncertainty flickered across her face. "I will need time," she finally said, pulling away from him. "Time to think about what you have said. But if I discover you have lied..." Oluwafemi felt his stomach twist at her words. He watched as she turned and walked away, leaving him alone in the bustling market, surrounded by vibrant colors that suddenly felt dull and lifeless. Later that night, Oluwafemi sat alone in his room, his mind racing. He replayed Chidinma's words over and over, each repetition amplifying the weight of his predicament. How long could he maintain this illusion? His heart ached at the thought of losing her, but he had no way of knowing how deep her suspicions ran. As he sat there, the soft flicker of lantern light casting shadows on the walls, a sudden realization washed over him. He needed to act quickly. If he lost Chidinma, he would lose everything he had built in Enugu, and the risks of his tangled life would become insurmountable. The next morning, he decided to return to Ilorin. He would reassure Adunni of his love, distract her from her suspicions, and remind her of the bond they shared. Perhaps he could also gather some of her strength to maintain his other marriages. He could not afford to lose any of his wives. Each one was a vital part of his complex life. But as dawn broke and he prepared to leave, a sense of foreboding settled in his chest, like a shadow lurking at the edge of his carefully woven web. As he journeyed to Ilorin, memories flooded his mind. Adunni's laughter, her fiery spirit, and her unwavering loyalty tugged at his heart. He had once promised her the world, and now he had to make sure she remained blissfully unaware of the growing chaos around him. When he arrived in Ilorin, the sun had just begun to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The familiar sights of the village greeted him. Children playing, women selling wares, and the rhythmic sound of drums resonating from the evening festivities. He quickly made his way to Adunni's home, anticipation and anxiety battling within him. As he entered her compound, Adunni was seated outside, weaving a basket while her mother sat nearby preparing dinner. The moment she spotted him, her face lit up with joy. "Oluwafemi!" she exclaimed, dropping her work and rushing to embrace him. "Adunni, my love," he replied, wrapping his arms around her. For a fleeting moment, everything felt right, and the weight of his secrets slipped away. "Why have you come?" I thought you were busy in Lagos, she said, her voice a mixture of relief and happiness. I missed you, he replied, his tone sincere as he gazed into her eyes. I came to remind you how much you mean to me. Adunni smiled, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a sense of peace. He settled down with her, talking about his travels and the trade in Lagos. He skillfully avoided the subject of his other wives, focusing solely on Adunni, her laughter filling the air like music. But as the night deepened, so did his guilt. The shadows of his secrets loomed larger, creeping into his thoughts like a dark fog. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to unravel, that the storm brewing in Chidinma's heart would soon reach him. 3 days later, after stealing precious moments with Adunni, Oluwafemi returned to Enugu. His heart raced as he approached Chidinma's stall, the marketplace now bustling with energy. He needed to mend things with her, to reassure her of his loyalty. But as he stepped closer, he noticed a group of women gathered around Chidinma, their voices raised in indignation. His heart sank as he overheard snippets of their conversation. Did you hear? He's a fraud. A man with many wives, one of the women exclaimed, her voice sharp. What do you mean? Chidinma replied, her tone steady but strained. That cannot be true. Everyone knows, I heard it from the traders who visited Ibadan. He has 2 wives already, and now he's trying to marry you. Panic surged through Oluwafemi as he realized that the whispers had transformed into a storm of accusations. He approached the group, heart pounding, determined to confront the truth before it spiraled out of control. Chidinma, he called, stepping forward as the crowd turned to face him. Let me explain. Explain what, Oluwafemi? She shot back, her eyes narrowing with frustration and hurt. You think you can charm your way out of this? The crowd murmured, their gazes shifting between him and Chidinma, anticipation hanging thick in the air. He took a deep breath, heart racing. I am a man of many travels, he began, his voice steady but low. And yes, I have loved before. But I came to Enugu to build a life with you, not to deceive you. Chidinma, you are my heart, my only love in this city. Then, why do others say otherwise? She challenged, her voice rising above the murmur of the crowd. I know what they say, but you must understand that I am trying to protect what we have, he pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. You are my partner, and I will fight for you. But the doubt in her eyes was evident, and he could see her resolve faltering. As the crowd shifted uncomfortably, Oluwafemi realized the depth of the hole he had dug for himself. The storm was no longer just within Chidinma. It was now in the hearts of all who surrounded them. He felt the ground slipping beneath him, the secrets he had carefully kept, now threatening to drown him. He had danced with the flames for too long, and it was time for him to face the consequences of his choices. Chidinma, he said softly, stepping closer, I will do whatever it takes to prove my love to you. Just give me a chance. As the crowd held its breath, Chidinma looked him straight in the eye, her voice cutting through the noise. Oluwafemi, love built on deceit is no love at all. The echoes of his past were now a cacophony of truth, and he could only hope that the love he had forged could withstand the tempest he had created. The reckoning. The marketplace felt suffocating as whispers turned to shouts, and the crowd buzzed with curiosity and judgment. Chidinma stood before Oluwafemi, her face a mask of confusion and betrayal, while the onlookers leaned in, eager for a spectacle. Why should we believe you? One of the women from the crowd shouted. You've lied to her. If you truly loved her, you wouldn't have kept secrets. Oluwafemi's heart pounded in his chest, the weight of his deceit pressing down on him. He could feel Chidinma's disappointment piercing through him like a knife. I never wanted to hurt you, he called out, searching for a way to redeem himself. I came to Enugu to start anew. You are the one I cherish above all. Chidinma's eyes softened momentarily, but then a wave of anger washed over her. You think words are enough? You've toyed with my heart, Oluwafemi. How can I trust you again? Trust can be rebuilt, he pleaded, stepping forward. Let me prove it to you. I will face whatever consequences come my way, but I need you to let me explain. Explain what? How you've strung along 4 women at once? Chidinma's voice was laced with pain. You're a fraud, Oluwafemi. You've disrespected me, disrespected us. The crowd murmured in agreement, and the heat of their judgment scorched him. He had not only betrayed Chidinma, but had put her at the center of his web of lies. As he scanned the crowd, he saw faces filled with disbelief and anger, each one a reminder of the fracture he had created. "Please," he said, his voice cracking. "I can't change the past, but I can promise you a future. I will renounce my other marriages. I will be yours completely." Chidinma shook her head, tears shimmering in her eyes. "And why would I believe you now? You've made promises before, and look where it's led us." Oluwafemi felt desperation claw at him. "Because I love you, Chidinma. You are the only one I want. I will not return to Ibadan or Ilorin. I will sever those ties and dedicate myself to you." The crowd watched, silent, their judgment hanging thick in the air. Chidinma took a step back, crossing her arms defensively. "You expect me to believe that everything will change just because you say it will? You've hurt me, Oluwafemi. I cannot stand by a man who has shattered the trust of those who love him." "Chidinma, please," he implored, his voice rising with emotion. "I will do anything to make this right. Give me a chance to prove that my love for you is real." The murmurs from the crowd intensified. Some women shook their heads, their expressions disapproving. Others looked on, curious, as if waiting for the verdict to be handed down. "Perhaps you should leave," one of the older women in the crowd said. "If you've broken her heart, there's no place for you here. We will not stand by while you use our sister to mend your broken pieces." Oluwafemi felt a wave of despair wash over him. He had tried to be charming, to play the role of a devoted husband, but now, standing exposed, he realized how futile it all seemed. "I will go," he finally said, his voice heavy with resignation. "But not without a promise to you, Chidinma. I will never stop fighting for your heart, no matter the distance." With that, he turned away, feeling the weight of the crowd's judgment on his back as he walked through the throng of people. He had come to Enugu with hope and ambition, but now he was leaving with nothing but regret. Days turned into weeks, and Oluwafemi found himself in a limbo of solitude. He returned to Ibadan to face Ireti and admitted the truth. "I am a fool," he confessed, staring into her eyes, seeking forgiveness. "I have made mistakes, and I cannot keep lying. I need to sever our bond." Ireti, hurt but wise, responded with grace. "You have lost your way, Oluwafemi. Love is not a game, and you have played with the hearts of those who cared for you. I will not hold you against your will, but I will not forget the pain you have caused." With a heavy heart, he left her, and next he faced Adunni in Ilorin. As he walked through the familiar streets, memories flooded back, happy moments that now felt tainted by betrayal. "Adunni," he began, unable to mask his sorrow. "I have come to set things right. I cannot continue this charade. I have to let you go." Adunni looked at him, confusion mingling with sadness. "You're leaving me after everything we've built together? I have wronged you, and I cannot bear to keep you tied to my mistakes. You deserve a love that is unwavering, not one filled with lies." Tears streamed down her face as she absorbed his words. "I thought you loved me, Oluwafemi." "I do love you," he replied, his voice choked with emotion. "But I can no longer keep you in the shadows of my deception." With that, he left Ilorin, a piece of his heart remaining with each woman he had betrayed. In Enugu, Chidinma had spent weeks grappling with the turmoil he had left in his wake. The whispers in the market had turned into a tempest of rumors, and her pride was wounded. Yet beneath the pain, there was a flicker of hope. One evening, as she closed her stall, she saw Oluwafemi standing at a distance, his expression filled with longing and regret. Her heart raced as she remembered the warmth of his embrace and the dreams they had shared. "Chidinma," he called, taking a hesitant step closer. "I know I have hurt you and I can't erase my mistakes, but I am here to ask for your forgiveness." She crossed her arms, keeping her distance. "What makes you think I could forgive you after everything?" "Because I have faced the truth of my actions," he replied, his voice earnest. "I have let go of the others. I want only you. I will spend my days proving to you that I can be the man you deserve." Chidinma felt the tension between them, the weight of their shared history pressing down on her. "And what if you decide to leave again? What if you fall back into your old ways?" "I won't," he insisted. "I swear it. I've learned the hard way what truly matters, and that is the love we can build together. I will not take that for granted again." For a moment, silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken words and lingering doubts. Chidinma's heart ached as she weighed her options. Could she trust him again? Could love flourish from the ashes of betrayal? "Prove it to me," she said finally, her voice steady. "Prove to me that you are worthy of my heart." "I will," he replied, hope blooming in his chest. "I will spend every day showing you that I can be the man you deserve. Please, just give me a chance." Weeks turned into months, and Oluwafemi worked tirelessly to rebuild the trust he had shattered. He spent time with Chidinma, not just as her husband, but as her partner, sharing laughter, struggles, and dreams. Slowly but surely, they began to mend what had been broken. One day, as they walked hand in hand through the market, Chidinma turned to him, a playful smile gracing her lips. "You know, for a man who once juggled multiple wives, you've become rather devoted." He chuckled, pulling her closer. "It's all I've ever wanted, Chidinma, to be worthy of your love." Her laughter danced in the air, and he felt the weight of his past lift, replaced by the warmth of a shared future. Together, they had weathered the storm of secrets and betrayal, emerging stronger on the other side. In the end, Oluwafemi learned that love is not just about passion and charm. It is about trust, honesty, and the willingness to fight for what truly matters. As he looked into Chidinma's eyes, he knew he had found the love he had been searching for, not just in the arms of one woman, but in the promise of a lifetime spent together. And so, in the heart of Enugu, amidst the bustling market and the vibrant tapestry of life, Oluwafemi and Chidinma built a love that was unbreakable, a testament to resilience and the enduring power of forgiveness.